What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the PPL. This is going to be the team builder for week 6, 7, I think it's 7, right? Week 7 of the PPL. This week we are going up against Shoddy and the Bayern Munich. I am actually really excited for this game, believe it or not. I'm usually never excited to play Shoddy because him and I, how can I put this nicely? No matter what happens, the game is always bad. The first time I played him, I didn't really care about the season, and I wanted him to win the title, so I didn't even try, and he got a 6-0. And last season, he forgot his Mega Stone. I missed Hurricanes. We can argue all day as to which actually mattered more. I crit him. He crit me, and I think a couple times. Like, it was just an awful game. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully having a really good match with him without a whole lot of hacks. Like, of course, you can't permanently stop hacks, but it would still be nice to have a good, clean game. Now, let's talk about his team as compared to my team. Actually, I kind of want to go over my team because I did make a transfer that I kind of sort of talked about, but I didn't completely talk about. What is that thing called? Yeah, that thing. So this past week, I'm going to put a side-by-side of our two teams so you guys know what is the thing that I can be bringing. I did make a transfer. I have 2 more transfers remaining. I made one this week and then one starting next week. I will talk about both of them right now. I actually dropped Kyurem Black for a couple different reasons. After this game, even including this game, Kyurem Black doesn't do a whole lot to my final opponents. Ultimately, I probably would have brought it once. And I also face a Thunderous Therian this week. I face a... I'm sorry, no. I don't face an electric type this week. I face a Thunderous Therian next week. I face a Tapu Koko, and I face a Raikou. So electric types are going to shit on my team. So I really wanted a ground type. And both of the Nidos were still available. So I actually dropped Kyurem Black, and I picked up Nidoqueen, which is active this week. And then starting next week, I'm going to have Alolan Exeggutor as well. So I still have my Dragon typing. And Alolan Exeggutor actually does a lot to my final couple opponents. So I'm really excited to be picking up these Mons. However, I can only use Nidoqueen this week. Kind of upsetting because Alolan Exeggutor kind of does a lot to Shoddy. However, let's go ahead and talk about his team. He has a Jirachi, Megazord X, Tapu Fini, Dugtrio, Superior, Alolan Muck, Seismitoad, Aerodactyl, Rotom, and Glalie. He can pretty much bring anything to this game except for Glalie. I don't really see Glalie coming and doing that much to me. So pretty much everything else is fair game, though, and that's really, really terrifying because Alolan Muck is going to be a pretty good check to my Mew wanting to do anything pretty much unless I'm a certain set. Dugtrio is really scary for trapping my team. It can trap Nidoqueen pretty easily, and I don't have the best switch-ins to it. Jirachi Megazord X Tapu Fini is a stupid, annoying core that I don't want to face, honestly, but, you know, it is what it is. And then, ultimately, Scarf Superior is what scares me the most about his team. It scares me the most because of the team I brought. So, I don't think he can be Scarfed because otherwise I do have a Zapdos which can wall it pretty easily. However, it is still a little terrifying. So let's just go ahead and talk about the team that I will be bringing. Let's start off with this Nidoqueen set. This Nidoqueen has enough speed for like 56 invested Tapu Fini, so he won't be able to outspeed me unless he has some pretty good investment. And then I have Sludge Wave, Stealth Rock, Earth Power, and Toxic Spikes. Toxic Spikes is pretty important for wearing down things like the Zardex after he Mega Evolves, for getting the Tapu Fini worn down. It's actually really important, and if he doesn't bring Alolan Muck, I'm going to set up Toxic Spikes as soon as possible. Because he can defog them away. Once Tapu Fini is poisoned, I don't care if anything else gets poisoned on his entire team. If I can get Tapu Fini poisoned, I'll be happy. Stealth Rocks are pretty important in this game because of Zardex. But overall, Sludge Wave Earth Power hits his team for pretty good damage. And then that Spadef investment is so I can take on Superior a little bit better. Not the best, but a little bit. And it also helps me take on like a special Calm Mind Rachi that doesn't have Psychic coverage. He has like Flash Cannon plus Thunderbolt or something like that. Or Thunderbolt plus... I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. It helps take on a certain amount of his special attackers, especially like the Rotom and things like that. He also really loves Rotom. He's been using it really well too, so that's kind of a scary mon for me. But overall, this thing is here to pressure his Tapu Fini a little bit, get up Toxic Spikes if he doesn't bring a Alolan Muck, and if he does bring a Alolan Muck, hopefully Earth Power it and get off some good damage and possibly break his Shuca Berry. This set overall is going to be accompanied extremely well by this set. I'm going out of order in the team builder just because it's super important for like how I built the team. Roost, U-Turn, Hidden Power Grass, and Thunderbolt Zapdos with 36 in HP just to prevent some speed creeps. 156 Bold allows me to take 50% exactly from Dugtrio. Let me actually get the exact calc. Stone Edge does 42 to 50.7% guaranteed, meaning that if he does more than 50% to me, I instantly know that he is banded. And if I switch in on, if he doesn't have Rocks up, I can actually switch in, take 2 Stone Edges, click U-Turn, and then go into something like my Greninja or my Suicune or my Darmanitan to revenge kill it. So that's pretty important. And this 64 Spadef investment allows me to take a Leaf Storm plus a +2 Hidden Power Ice, Rock. Yeah, that's all the super effective against Zapdos, right? Ice, right, yeah. I'm really freaking tired. But allows me to take a +2 super effective Hidden Power from Superior, click U-Turn, get off critical damage to instantly put it in range of my my Greninja. Now, speaking of Greninja, Greninja was actually the next mon that I put on this team because it was a weird set in some instances. I have 244 in speed with 252 special attack and 12 in HP. So why is this a weird set? So this is a weird set because I do not have Water Shuriken. If I have Water Shuriken, I'm able to actually not put this much speed investment, and I can just kill Dugtrio outright unless he is like 2 Pasho Berries. However, I wanted U-Turn specifically because if he is Focus Sash Dugtrio, I want to be able to U-Turn out on it. If he is like lefties, Superior for whatever reason, and I can't kill it with like an Ice Beam or a Gunk Shot, I want to be able to U-Turn out on it and go into my Zapdos, click a slow U-Turn, and then get into my Darmanitan. I want to be able to pivot with this thing. Also, because this does bait in his Tapu Fini pretty much every single time, being able to U-Turn on it and go directly into my Nidoqueen or my Mew or my Zapdos is super, super useful. Also, with this set, I'm able to do a lot of damage to the majority of his team. For example, let me just remind myself, Jirachi takes a lot from Dark Pulse, so does Zardex. Tapu Fini doesn't appreciate a Gunk Shot. Depending on his spread, it'll do about 40%. Dugtrio can't take an Ice Beam. Superior can take an Ice Beam. Alolan Muck I can also U-Turn on. And he can Pursuit Trap me. However, if I click U-Turn on this and he does like switch out, expect me to double or whatever, I'm able to actually gain a little bit of momentum that way. Seismitoad can't take Dark Pulses that well. Aerodactyl doesn't want to switch into Ice Beams super well. And Rotom can't take Dark Pulses. So this thing really does hurt his team, and I need Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, Gunk Shot coverage to hurt his team effectively, along with U-Turn to gain me the precise momentum gaining that I want. So these 3 mons were actually the first 3 that I put on the team. I knew I wanted them more than anything else. Next was Suicune. I'm looking extremely weak to Dragon Dance Zardex or Swords Dance Zardex, so I wanted a Roarcoon with 28 speed investment because there's no way Shotty's going to put any more than 20 speed EVs into his Tapu Fini. So I'm going to go Roar, Protect, Toxic, and Scald. Roar and Protect is there to roar out his Zardex. Protect is there to wear out Misty Terrain. If I wear out Misty Terrain and I'm 1v1ing his Tapu Fini, like he is a Calm Mind Tapu Fini, I will wear out his Misty Terrain until I can Toxic him, then I will roar him out. I'm going to be able to get off the Toxic safely on the Tapu Fini, while also being able to Scald Burn the Jirachi and put a little bit of pressure on that so that way he can't just right out sweep me. This is also a pretty good check to some of his more offensive mons like Aerodactyl and Dugtrio, and with Scald I can pressure them pretty well. I do really like this set in general, with how much pressure it does put on his physical attackers to get off some key damage. That means that Tapu Fini will have to switch in more often than not, meaning that it won't always be able to have up Misty Terrain, so I can Toxic it. So now that I have these 4 Mons with all very specific purposes, I wanted to figure out how I wanted to break through his team extremely early in the game. And that is going to be my Mew set. I'm running 236 in speed. That is enough speed to outspeed a Zapdos that is speed creeping a Darmanitan. If he runs max speed, I'm fine with it. It's not like the biggest deal in the world, but at least I'm not running max speed, and I have a little bit of HP investment. It's really not a whole lot. However, it does help me take on certain threats like the Seismitoad. I can actually take hits a little bit better from Seismitoad if he is lead toad to get up rocks. I can nasty plot up on it, and with this HP investment, I can actually take on his Tapu Fini a little bit better. Like Surf does slightly less, making it a little bit easier for me to take it on. With Soft Boiled, Nasty Plot, Side Shock, Earth Power with the Ground DMZ, I can effectively take out all of his walls. All of them. If he's like a bulky Jirachi, I can nasty plot up. I can click +2 Ground EMZ. If he is Calm Mind Tapu Fini and I set up a nasty plot, a +2 Psy Shock does a metric shitload of damage. If he wants to be like Shookaberry on his Muck, he can't knock me off because I do have a Ground EMZ, so I can click Earth Power, pop that, click Ground EMZ, kill it. This ultimately can break through his team extremely early in the game, and that's what I love about it. So I can lead off, I can get up Toxic Spikes if he doesn't bring Alolan Muck, I can then go into my Mew, and then I can hopefully go around his team a little bit better and get some really good damage off on things. Greninja can force a lot of switches and get some momentum to try to get me into my Zapdos, which is going to be the key player of this game, I think, and then going into Zapdos whenever he does decide to bring in Zapdos. So now that I have these 5, I'm going to talk about the one Mon that I went back and forth for so long about what I should bring. I didn't know if I should bring Darmanitan or if I should bring Fortress. Fortress, I really wanted to be able to force Zard to take a bunch of recoil damage to where I can go into like my Mew, force it to roost up or kill itself. Ultimately, I decided to go with Darm because with the speed that I need to outspeed his Rotom and these 20 HP investments, I am guaranteed to live a +1 Flare Blitz or Thunder Punch, because I think it'll be Roost Dragon Dance, Thunder Punch, Flare Blitz from Zapdos. And Rock Slide does approximately 70%, so if he switches in on Rocks, it's a roll to kill him. He cannot roost up on me, and no matter what, I'm going to be able to hurt Zapdos as long as he is only at +1. This is also really good because, again, it forces in the Tapu Fini. Now, if I'm planning on having Tapu Fini forced in as much as I think I am, and I am able to yawn as he switches in his Tapu Fini, and he does not have Misty Terrain up, he will have to switch back out, and something that I can kind of sort of expect to switch in, or I can just completely reset the entire game and then get out of there. Let's say his Tapu Fini gets up like 4 Calm Minds, Misty Terrain is gone, I can click Yawn, and he can be stuck in there, and then I can go into like Mew, I can set up, go for Psyshock and do a lot of damage to it. I can go into my Zapdos, click Thunderbolt, do a lot of damage to it. It's kind of an extra failsafe to Calm Mind Tapu Fini. This is also a really good failsafe if I'm having... So there's a couple scenarios that I thought that this would be useful for. One is if he doesn't bring Tapu Fini, and I'm locked into Earthquake, Rotom is a very good switch in. And if he has something like, let's say his last 3 mons are like Rotom, Charizard, and Jirachi. I do not want to lock myself into Earthquake and give Rotom a free switch in, because if my Nidoqueen is pressured, like I feel like it will be because of Tapu Fini, I don't have the best switch ins to Rotom. It's like Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt, like Will-O-Wisp and Hex can really do a lot of damage to Zapdos. So I wanted to have Yawn to force it back out. Granted, a Flare Blitz can kill it, but if I'm locked into Flare Blitz, that gives Zard a free switch in and a free Dragon Dance. I'm also taking Recoil, which I do not want to take. So I figured Yawn would be a best case scenario in that way, and I'm running Rock Slide over Earthquake just because I do not want to have Rotom be a free switch in, or his Aerodactyl for that fact, because my switch-ins to Aerodactyl are pretty much Suicune. Especially if he's like Ground DMZ Earthquake, my Nidoqueen can't even switch in for very well. So that is pretty much why I have Yawn on Darmanitan. I wanted to run Rock Slide plus Earthquake, but either way I would have to lock myself into one or the other, and the majority of time, if he has Rotom, I would have to lock myself into Rock Slide anyway, and it's just not worth it to me. So I would just rather run Yawn, either pop or bop the Jirachi, as it comes in, have it switch back out. Also, if, let's say for some reason, I'm late game, I have Rocks up, plus a layer of Toxic Spikes, and I have Darmanitan in, and I have clicked Yawn, and he does not have Tapu Fini, I can repeatedly click Yawn until he lets something go to sleep, or he continuously switches himself out, takes Rocks damage, gets poisoned, and goes along with it. So I can kind of sort of trap him into this. Do I continue to take Hazards damage, or do I let something go to sleep and let Mew set up and potentially sweep him? So Darmanitan's Yawn, I think, has a bunch of different unique purposes this game. And I think I can really, I don't want to say showcase it, but I think it's definitely interesting. But guys, that is the team that I am bringing against Shoddy and the Bayern Munich. I have already played the game, and I'm going to tell you right now, it was an amazing game. If you guys have not seen a game between Shoddy and myself, or if you have seen one and you don't like watching them because they are shit games, watch this next game. It is an amazing game and you guys will love it. I promise you. But guys, that is going to be the team builder. I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like down below for me. Also, go check out Shoddy and all the other links down below in the description. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.